Hello YouTubers, welcome to part 3. Today we're going to be trying to remove the Pto Flywheel on this Tigershark Daytona 1000. I've never done one before since on the last project ski that I got. Actually the Pto Flywheel was already removed for me. The previous owner did it, so I've never had the fun of actually removing one of these. So today should be interesting. I hear they're kind of a pain in the butt to do, but I did buy the special Untitled tool. And right here it is, wraps around the Pto Flywheel, and you put a breaker bar right in there. So let's go ahead and give it a shot and see how it works out. Oh, and there's my pet Peaches. She's saying like and subscribe if you haven't already. Yes, Peaches, they will like and subscribe. Yes, they will, I promise. Alright, so let's go get this done. Before I get started, I just wanted to show you guys this tool. This is the special Tigershark tool that you're going to need, and the part number is 0644284. I got this one off eBay. It was pretty cheap. I think I paid about 9 or 10 bucks shipped, so like I said, real cheap. And what it does is it just wraps around the flywheel like so and clicks in on one of those notches. I don't know if you can see that notch down there, but clicks in right there. And then you just put a big breaker bar inside where that little square is, and hope you have a lot of muscle to crack it loose. But before you can do that, we gotta lock the engine in place so it doesn't turn. So right now it's all loose. I can turn the flywheel pretty easily. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this cylinder head right here, put a rag in it, put some bolts in it, and then as the piston moves up to make its compression stroke, it will prevent the Pto Flywheel from turning. Okay, I turned the engine over, and now the rag is pressed up right against the cylinder head, right on the compression stroke, and I can't move that rear Pto Flywheel anymore. So now I'm going to put the tool on there and see if I can crack this thing loose. So I'm having a heck of a time trying to get this thing positioned right, because there's only like 4 notches on the flywheel where this thing kind of connects to. And with this, I mean, it's such a big breaker bar and this is such a skinny opening. I mean, it's either it's all the way like this or it's all the way like that now, and there's really no room to place it one way or the other. So I have this broken torque wrench right here. I mean, you see it's all busted up. So I also use this as a breaker bar because it's got a ratcheting mechanism on one side. It'll allow me to ratchet it. So let's give it a shot. See if I get lucky. Okay, I'm gonna try putting some pipe on the end of this breaker bar that I have now, or I should say torque wrench turned breaker bar, and see if I get some more leverage out of this thing. Holy cow, this thing's like crazy tight. Oh, all right, here we go. Tell me it broke loose. Did it break loose? Tell me it broke loose. Yes! There we go. We got it. Sweet. I just had to get out the negotiator. That's what I call the negotiator right there. He doesn't take any crap. Alright. Now that we got the rear PTO undone, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and start breaking down the top end of the engine while it's still in the jet ski. So that way when I pull the engine out, it'll be lighter and it'll also be easier to maneuver in between this space. Because the last time I pulled one of these engines out of this jet ski, it was really hard to get it in between this narrow opening. So with the top end removed, should make it a lot easier, or at least I'm hoping. So that's one jug and cylinder head removed. You can see the crankshaft's in really nice shape, and it looks like the crankcase is really clean. No signs of water damage at all in there, so this is looking very promising. I'm liking this. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with the other two. Well, I'm back at it again after work. I'm going to take off this rear cylinder over here. I removed the PTO cylinder head and I'm seeing some minor pitting in the combustion chamber from when the cylinder was detonating, so I ordered another good used one and should have it here sometime next week. The PTO piston I removed showed signs of getting really hot, so hot in fact that the SPT logo started to melt away. The PTO piston also had scoring on the skirt and the piston crown had some pitting, so I think at this point it's probably best that I order a new piston kit and replace them all. Thankfully, the bore on this cylinder is still in really good shape and only has some minor scoring. In fact, after inspecting all the cylinder bores, I don't think I'll have any problems reusing any of them because they all appear to be in good shape. Okay, last piston here. After removing the cylinders, pistons, and head, I was able to inspect the engine much better and noticed that someone had rebuilt this engine. The crankshaft in it is from SPT and looks fairly new. The pistons I removed are also from SPT, and the bores in the cylinders appear to be steel lined instead of Nikasil coated. Now, I'm not a pro at identifying Nikasil bores, so maybe you guys can help me out with that. I have more of a Sea-Doo background, and Sea-Doo didn't use any of this fancy Nikasil technology in any of their two-stroke jet skis. If you look at the base of the cylinder, I see a seam which tells me maybe a steel liner was pressed in. Let me know what you think by commenting down below. After looking at the pistons more closely, I noticed the PTO piston has more damage on the crown and skirt than what I'm comfortable with. So the new plan is to buy a new piston kit, reuse and hone the original cylinders as long as if they're steel lined, and then reassemble the engine. Hello YouTubers. This morning I'm pulling the engine out of this 98 TSR 1000. Since it's just going to be me doing this, I decided to use my engine hoist. So I got my engine hoist over the top of this thing, and I've got it connected to the belly pan of the engine by some chains here. And my goal is to lift this one side up so it'll start to come over like this, and then we can hopefully pull it straight out. That's what I'm hoping for. So let's see what happens. All right, man, there she is, all removed. We made some good progress in this episode. We got the engine removed. I found out that the pistons weren't quite in good of shape as I thought they were, so I'm just going to go ahead and replace them all. Thankfully, the bores are in good shape. So I'm going to end part 3 here, and then in part 4, we are going to be cleaning out this hull. Man, this thing is just nasty, super nasty. I don't think it's ever been cleaned out before. Bunch of oil, dirt, and grime. Ugh. And then we're going to be removing that oil tank. We're going to flush that out and clean it. We're going to order a new oil filter too. So we want to make sure everything's nice and clean, brand new. And then if we have time, maybe in part 4 we'll start disassembling the engine. Alright guys, so long. See ya.